Welcome to another edition of Final Destinations. In this episode, we are going to feature the Boeing 747 with Northwest Airlines. First entered service in 1970, Northwest operated three variants of the type for 40 years, the 747-100, 200, and 400, of which Northwest was the first operator of the series worldwide. There were a total of 62 747s in their fleet. Let's take a look at each of them. (601) US flew for Northwest from April 30th, 1970 to September 25th, 2000. It was the first 747 for Northwest. It was broken up in Maxton, North Carolina, but the nose section is now on display at the Smithsonian National Air and Space Museum in Washington, D.C. There's a video available on YouTube of the nose section being cut up and transported to the museum for display. Here are a few clips. Also in Maxton, 602 US flew for Northwest from May 11, 1970 to April 1995. It ended up being bought by Charlotte Aircraft Corporation as November 602 PR and broken up in 2017. Also on YouTube is a video featuring two people touring the site and the aircraft being featured. (603) US flew for Northwest from May 22, 1970 to May 27, 1999. It is being slowly parted out, but not yet broken up as of December 31st, 2017. Over to Mojave now, where we see 604 US. It flew for Northwest from June 24th, 1970 to 1994, where it was broken up that same year. Now to Greenwood, Mississippi. 605 US flew for Northwest from July 24, 1970 to August 9, 1995. It was broken up in January of 2000. Back to Maxton for 606 US. It flew for Northwest from August 30th, 1970 to April 3rd, 1995. It was also registered to Charlotte Aircraft Corporation as November 606 PB up until April 26th of 2010, and the aircraft was broken up around 2004. Back over to Greenwood, 607 US flew for Northwest from September 9th, 1970 to October 26th, 1994. It was broken up around 1998. (608) US flew for Northwest starting September 17, 1970. In February 2000, it was donated to Western Michigan University and broken up around 2004. Its final resting place ended up being in Battle Creek, Michigan. Back to Mojave, 609 US flew for Northwest from October 28, 1970 to February 1995, and scrapped by 1999. Here's a picture of the tail from 1998. And over at Greenwood, 610 US flew for Northwest from November 11, 1970 to November 23, 1994, and broken up around 1999. Now we're off to Marana, Arizona, where we'll be spending the majority of our time in this episode, and it's also the site of our first 747-200. 611 US flew for Northwest from March 26, 1971 to November 27, 1998. It was sold to Evergreen for parts and broken up around March 2001. In Roswell, we'll find 612 US, which flew from Northwest from 1971 to 2002. It is now broken up. Over to Marana, 613 US flew for Northwest from 1971 to 2003, where it was stored and scrapped around 2007. Back over to Roswell, 614 US flew for Northwest from 1971 to 2002. It was stored, had its registration cancelled in 2003, and broken up around 2006. $615 US flew for Northwest from 1971 to 2001. It was stored, had its registration cancelled in 2004, and broken up. In 1999, the aircraft was involved in an incident at Singapore Airport. A report is available on aviationsafety.net with pictures. Now we're off to Oscoda, Michigan. 616 US flew for Northwest Cargo from 1975 to 2008. It was registered to Kalitta Air from 2010 to 2014, where it was scrapped. In Marana, 617 US flew for Northwest Cargo from 1975 to 2008. It was registered to Logistic Air and stored as of 2018. $618 US also flew for Northwest Cargo from 1975 to 2008 and was also registered to Logistic Air and stored as of 2018. Back to Oscoda, where we'll find 619 US, which flew for Northwest Cargo from 1977 to 2009. It was sold to Kalitta Air in 2010 and re-registered as November 719 CK on April 22, 2011. In Greenwood, we will find the last two Boeing 747-100s. 620 US flew for Northwest from 1976 to 1995. The aircraft first flew on August 21, 1970, was acquired from National Airlines, and it was broken up in March of 2000. 621 US flew for Northwest from 1976 to 1996. First flew in 1970 and also acquired from National Airlines. It was broken up in September of 1998. Back to Marana, and back to the 747-200s, 622 US flew for Northwest from 1979 to 2008. It was broken up by 2010. Over to Oscoda, we'll find 623 US. It flew from Northwest from 1979 to 2009, and was then registered to Baltia Airlines from 2011 to 2017. It was stored in Oscoda and last seen around 2016. $624 US flew for Northwest from 1979 to 2009. It was registered to Kalitta Air in 2010 and scrapped around 2015. Back to Marana, 65 US flew for Northwest from 1979 to 2007. It was scrapped around 2009. This aircraft had a yellow ribbon on its nose for Operation Desert Storm. $626 US flew for Northwest from 1979 to 2003. It was scrapped around 2012. Now we're going to go across the Pacific to Guam, where we'll find 627 US, which flew for Northwest from 1980 to 2008. This aircraft was involved in an incident in August of 2005 where the nose gear collapsed upon landing. A safety report is available on aviationsafety.net along with photos. Back to Marana, 628 US flew for Northwest from 1980 to 2003. It was scrapped around 2010. Over to Escoda, 629 US flew for Northwest Cargo from 1980 to 2009. It was registered to Kalita Air in 2010 for parts, and still derelict as of 2016. $630 US flew for Northwest Cargo from 1983 to about 2008. The aircraft first flew on September 17, 1979, and was acquired originally from the Republic of Iran Air Force. The aircraft was then registered to Kalita Air from 2010 to 2014 but never flew for them. The aircraft was last seen derelict in 2013. Now we're off to Tbilisi, Georgia. 631 US flew for Northwest from 1984 to 2009. It was converted to a freighter in December 2005 and registered as 631 NW. On January 5, 2018, the aircraft was then registered as 4LGEM to Air Geo Sky, where it still flies for today. $632 US flew for Northwest from 1984 to 2010. It was re-registered as N632NW in 2004, converted to a freighter in August 2005, then registered to Kalita Air as N790CK from 2010 to 2012, whereas was stored in Escoda. Over at Marana, 633 US flew for Northwest from 1984 to 2008. The aircraft first flew in 1980 and was acquired from Air Algerie. Here are some photos of the aircraft in the desert in 2014. $634 US flew for Northwest from 1984 to 2007. The aircraft first flew in 1981 and was originally delivered to Braniff, then Air Algerie, before going to Northwest. It was broken up by 2012. $65 US flew for Northwest from 1984 to 2007. The aircraft first flew on May 17, 1979, entering service with the Braniff, then People Express before going to Northwest. The aircraft was scrapped around 2010. Now we're off to Kano, Nigeria. 636 US flew for Northwest from 1986 to 2003. The aircraft was then wet leased to Biman, Bangladesh as 5NMAD, then flying for Cabo Air. The aircraft has been stored and is visible in 2020. $637 US flew for Northwest from 1986 to 2008. It was delivered to Cabo Air as 5NDKB on November 16, 2011. The aircraft still lies derelict at the airport. $638 US flew for Northwest from 1986 to 2008. It was delivered to Cabo Air as 5NJRM on December 6, 2008, and is still stored there currently. Rome, New York is where we'll find 639 US, which flew for Northwest Cargo from 1987 to 2009. The aircraft was eventually sold to Mid-Air Cargo, but lies derelict as of 2017. At Oskanda, 640 US flew for Northwest Cargo from 1987 to 2009. It was then registered to Kalita Air as N791CK on August 30th, 2010, and was last seen derelict as of 2016. At Marana, 641NW flew for Northwest from 1996 to 2007. The aircraft first flew in 1980 and was acquired from Singapore Airlines as 9V SQP. The aircraft was still derelict as of 2018. $642 flew for Northwest from 1996 to 2004. The aircraft first flew in 1980, originally for Singapore Airlines as 9VSQQ, then was acquired from Garuda Indonesia and then broken up in 2011. The nose section is on display and preserved at the Museum of Aeronautical Sciences in Tokyo, Japan. $643NW flew for Northwest Cargo twice, first in 1997 as registration N9401, then from May 1999 to December 2009. The aircraft first flew in 1980 for several cargo airlines, before retiring at Walnut Ridge Airport in Arkansas and being scrapped in 2012. $644NW flew for Northwest Cargo from 1999 to 2009. The aircraft first flew in 1988 and also flew for South African Airways Cargo and Kalita Air from 2010 to 2013, and was still derelict as of 2016. $645NW flew for Northwest Cargo from 2001 to 2009. The aircraft was delivered on March 1, 1987, originally to United Airlines as N151UA, and is now registered to the cargo airline as 4LGEL in Tbilisi, Georgia. It was last seen flying in 2019. The last 747-200 on our list is 646NW, which flew for Northwest Cargo from 2000 to 2009. The aircraft first flew in 1987, originally for United Airlines as N152UA, and is now leased to Sigma Airlines of Kazakhstan as registration UP-B4702. It was last seen at Taraz, Kazakhstan in 2020. We're now going back to Marana to see the 747-400s, where all but one of the aircraft type ended up for their final resting place. The 747-400s entered service with Northwest in 1989 and stayed with the airline until being merged and operated by Delta Airlines from 2010 until their retirement in 2017. I will point out some of the important tail numbers that bore some significance during its time in the air. $663US was the first 747-400 to enter commercial service with Northwest Airlines, making its debut flight on February 9, 1989. It was scrapped around 2017. 670 flew for Northwest from 1990 to 2009. This aircraft wore a world plane color scheme to commemorate 50 years of bridging the Pacific, and also wore a decal called the Alliance Spirit. I personally flew on this plane from Detroit to Osaka in 1998. This aircraft is now derelict since 2018. 671US flew for Northwest from 1999 to 2009. This aircraft wore a City of Detroit decal. It is now derelict as of 2018. $673US flew for Northwest from 1999 to 2009. This aircraft wore a City of Tokyo decal and has been derelict as of 2018. $674US flew for Northwest from 1999 to 2009. This aircraft wore a City of Shanghai decal and was also used as the farewell tour aircraft for Delta's final flights in December of 2017 and was scrapped around 2018. $675US flew for Northwest from 2002 to 2009. This aircraft wore a Spirit of the Northwest People decal and was derelict since 2018. The last spot of our tour takes us to Atlanta, where we see 661US, the very first 747-400 ever built. This aircraft was a prototype and test aircraft for Boeing before being delivered to Northwest on December 8, 1989 to 2009. On October 9, 2002, This aircraft was involved in an incident as Northwest Flight 85 from Detroit to Tokyo Narita with a rudder problem, making an emergency landing in Anchorage. Its last revenue flight was on September 8, 2015, flying for Delta from Honolulu to Atlanta, where it is now a museum exhibit at the Delta Museum of Flight. The 747 will always be remembered as one of the most iconic aircraft in history, and its service with Northwest was extensive. Thank you for watching, and look forward to touring with you in the next episode. I would like to thank rzjets.net and planelogger.com, as well as all of the photographers who capture these tales, by freezing those moments in time that help visually document the legacy of each aircraft featured in this program. Finally, please be sure to like and subscribe so you do not miss any new episodes, and please be sure to share with your aviation friends who may find this interesting. Till next time, keep snapping those photos and logging those tales. Good day.